Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing you another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the Neca Creepshow, the Creep action figure. Now, Creepshow was an old horror comic, and the Creep was sort of the narrator of them. Led to a couple of films, and then the spin-off Tales from the Crypt. I was introduced to this whole thing through Tales from the Crypt. I liked the show as a kid. The Crypt Keeper was creepy, scary looking. The tales were horrible. Found out about the comics, and found out there were some previous comic series like Creepshow. I believe NECA wanted to make the Crypt Keeper, but were unable to get the rights to do that, so they made this guy. Next best thing. So now let's check out the packaging. This sort of resembles a Creepshow comic. You can see the top, it says 10 cents here, GN here, not sure what that stands for. Strange, eerie, terrifying, Creepshow, tales of suspense and horror. Here he is. He looks pretty creepy in there. Looks like a cloth robe onto a skeleton. He's got a lantern, a skull, an alternate hand, and I think there might be a Creepshow comic in there. One side it says Creepshow. Other side, exact same thing. At the bottom, there is a barcode in case that helps anybody, as well as a bunch of credits. And in the back, Creepshow, sort of like the comic. And then there he is. Going to read that, go ahead and pause now. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this guy out of the package, here he is with all of his accessories laid out. He does come with a Creepshow comic, which is really cool. It even has comic panels inside. He has a skull, an alternate left hand to be able to hold the lantern he comes with. He also has a robe that's removable. But before we look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figure. So here he is. Look at him. He's a rotting corpse. Bony, skinny, long gray hair. Got the hood. It's got a wire in there so you can sort of mold it the way you like, etc. His robe, one solid piece, frayed along the edges. I mean, his hands, everything about him looks just creepy. This guy looks pretty cool. Really hope we could get a Crypt Keeper someday like this, but I'll settle for him for now. And then, here's a figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, and let's start off with his hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are some open, outstretched, relaxed, creepy hands. And he has an alternate left hand, which is going to be able to hold his lantern. Now let's check out his heads. One is the standard creep head. It's got the long white hair. It looks great if you ask me. The hair is sort of glued to the top, but it doesn't look bad. It comes out very nice and very creepy. Then he has this alternate head, which is a skull. It's missing the jaw part. You can use this on the top, attach it to his peg. You can see where it would attach. But it can also be a separate skull accessory. It looks nice, the detail's good. I'll probably end up throwing this with my Predator trophy collection. Here he is with his regular creep head on. And here he is wearing his skull. It looks okay, looks a little odd with the jaw missing at the bottom, but pull the hood over, can look okay. I personally think the skull is a little bit more useful, simply laying in his hand. Here's his lantern. It's pretty basic. No articulation, it's not hinged to the top. Really, nothing special going on with this thing. Here it is, next to a Mattel wrestling lantern. This thing actually has some articulation at the top. And here he is holding his lantern. Here he is with another crazy, creepy lantern accessory. This is Bray Wyatt's head with a lantern shoved inside. This came with a Mattel Wrestling Fiend figure. Now let's look at his little comic. This thing here, it says Creepshow on the front, 10 cents at the top. You can see the creep sitting in a chair in a dark room. And then if you open this thing up, it actually has comic panels inside. Very impressed with this thing. If only it had some pages in, it'd be perfect. And on the back, an advertisement for some more Creepshow books. Here's the creep reading its own comic. While it's not an accessory that came with him, here's the creep sitting in a Neca chair that came with the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. I think it works great for Creep. Here's the Creep sitting at a table with his skull and his lantern, reading a comic. Now let's check out his robe. It's a light brown. All the edges are frayed. His hood here, it's got a bendy wire inside of it. It'll sort of hold any position you put it into. You can have it down, back, on top of his head, or forward, hiding his face. Has this back part of the hood too. The bendy wire goes back here, so you can kind of adjust the way you want the thing hanging. Pretty nice if you ask me. Couple little straps hanging down here. Beyond that, not much else going on. You can easily slide it on and off this guy. I would recommend taking his hands off and putting it back on, as his fingers get sort of stuck in some of the cloth. Here he is with his robe on, and here he is with his robe off. I was definitely curious what kind of an action figure we'd get under the robe, or if we'd even get a full figure at all. But looking at him, his head matches his body pretty nicely. It's a decayed corpse, a little bit of stuff on top of the skeleton. Looks like double jointed elbows, single jointed knees. Overall, the detailing is pretty nice. Definitely better than I expected. I didn't even know the robe was going to be removable, so this guy's definitely surpassing my expectations. And then with his hood, I would say this is the standard look for him, but you can put the hood down, back. You could have it normal on top, then you could drape it and sort of cover his face as well. And if you wanted to take the robe on and off, first thing, you should pop his hands off. And then next, you can simply slide him over the top like so. And if you wanted to, you can actually slide it down as well. I find this is the easiest way to do this. And when you put him back, especially, make sure his hands are off. They will get stuck with those pointy fingers. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, sitting at about 6.9 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 17.5 centimeters. But the hood makes him look a little bit taller. And now, let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, can rotate from side to side. Can look up and down about that much. Can tilt a little bit from side to side as well. Shoulders on a ball joint, they can go out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. No bicep cut, but it does have double jointed elbows. Here's the top part going in, and then there's the bottom part going in. It can also rotate at the top here, as well as at the bottom. Then his wrists can rotate around, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got sort of a ball joint in his torso, can rotate from side to side, can also go forward and back. His legs here, they're on ball joints. They can go out about that far. Be careful, they can pop out kind of easily. Go forward, and about that much, and back, not really at all. Single jointed knees, go back less than 90 degrees. They can rotate as well. Then his foot here goes up and down, and it can tilt and rock quite a bit. And now, let's check him out compared with some other action figures. Here he is next to a bunch of different NECA horror figures. Here he is next to a NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter figure. He uses a similar type robe. And now, let's check him out compared with some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Here he is with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figures, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale. And here he is with some DST, or Diamond Select toys. Then with some McFarlane toys. And here he is with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. Then with some Mattel wrestling figures. And here he is next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And next to some Mafex figures. Then with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, I think this figure is pretty good. He looks great. He looks creepy and disgusting. I think the execution of these soft goods and the body is done very well. I honestly didn't think he was even really going to have a body under there. I didn't think the robe would be removable. So now I can use him for a couple different things. 2 thumbs up for that. I think his hair looks very nice as well, even on top of his head. I don't know how they did it, but it looks pretty darn good. His overall just sculpt is nice. If I were to rate this guy, I think I'd give him a 7 out of 10. He's a nice figure. Little bit on the skinny side, but I mean, he's a decaying body. What do you expect? Really cool to get this guy on Friday the 13th. I missed him on Amazon before Halloween, and it's been eluding me for quite some time. I got my figure from Sure Thing Toys. It was $24.99, a little bit of tax, free shipping. Very impressed. They just got him somehow. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.